Please, Sophie, please drop the lawsuit. Mom begs through the phone. The judge ordered me to pay you back in full. I do not have that kind of money. They are going to garnish my wages. I could lose my house. I am sitting in my lawyer's office reviewing the court judgment. $199,000 plus legal fees. You spent my entire inheritance. The money Grandma left me, every penny of it. I was going to pay you back. I just needed time. You had 5 years. You bought a beach house, a new car, went on cruises. You never intended to pay me back. Sophie, I am your mother. You cannot do this to me. I am not doing anything to you. The court is. They reviewed the evidence, heard your testimony, and decided you committed theft. I just let them explain it to you. This will ruin me. Good. Then you will understand how I felt when I found out you stole my future. But let me back up. Let me tell you about my grandmother's inheritance and what happened when my mother decided it belonged to her. I grew up believing my mother was struggling. Elena Russo was a single mom who worked as a restaurant manager, raised me alone after my father left when I was 3, and always seemed to be just barely making ends meet. We lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment, shopped at discount stores, and never took vacations. Money is tight, she would say whenever I asked for anything. We have to be careful. I learned early not to ask for much, not to expect nice things, to be grateful for what we had. My grandmother, Nonna Rosa, was different. She had immigrated from Italy as a young bride, worked as a seamstress her whole life, and saved every penny. She lived simply but comfortably in a small house she owned outright. I spent every weekend with Nonna. She taught me to cook, to sew, to speak Italian. She told me stories about the old country and about building a life in America through hard work and frugality. Money is not for spending on foolish things, she would say in her heavily accented English. Money is security. Money is freedom. You save it, you invest it, you protect it. She was careful with her money, but generous with me. She paid for my school clothes when Mom could not. She gave me money for college textbooks. She made sure I had what I needed. When I was 22 and about to graduate college, Nonna got sick. Pancreatic cancer, fast and brutal. I spent her last 3 months at her bedside, missing classes, postponing my graduation. I held her hand while she died. A week after the funeral, her lawyer called me. Miss Russo, your grandmother left a will. She named you as her primary beneficiary. What does that mean? It means she left you everything. Her house, her savings, her investment accounts. After taxes and estate fees, you are looking at approximately $225,000. I nearly dropped the phone. $225,000. It was more money than I had ever imagined having. She wanted you to have security, the lawyer said. She was very specific about that. The money is to be used for your education, a home, your future, not to be squandered. I cried, not because of the money, though that was overwhelming, but because Nonna had loved me enough to give me everything she had worked for her entire life. The estate took 6 months to settle. During that time, I graduated college with a degree in marketing, got my first job at a small firm, and started planning my future. The money came through in December, 1 week before Christmas. $225,000 deposited into my savings account at the bank where I had been a customer since I was 16. I was 23 years old, and I had a foundation, a future, security, everything Nonna had wanted for me. I called Mom to tell her. I was excited, grateful, ready to share my good news. That was my first mistake. $225,000. Mom's voice was strange on the phone. Not happy. Something else. Yes. Can you believe it? Nonna left me everything. Everything. She left you everything and left me nothing. I had not thought about it that way. Mom, she wanted me to have security. She knew I was just starting out. I am her daughter. I raised you alone. I struggled for 23 years to keep a roof over our heads. And she left everything to you? She loved you, Mom. But she wanted me to have a good start. A good start? Sophie, I am 50 years old. I have been working since I was 16. I have nothing saved for retirement. Nothing. And my mother left everything to my daughter instead of me. The bitterness in her voice was shocking. I did not know you were expecting anything. Of course I was expecting something. She was my mother, but apparently, I meant nothing to her. You were the favorite. You were always the favorite. I did not know what to say. I had never known Mom felt that way about Nonna. I am sorry you are hurt. I said carefully. But this is what Nana wanted. She wanted me to have security. Security, right. While I continue to struggle. While I continue to work myself to death with nothing to show for it. Mom, I have to go. Congratulations on your inheritance. She hung up. I sat there feeling guilty, feeling like somehow I had done something wrong by being Nana's beneficiary. But the guilt faded over the next few weeks. I was busy with my new job, busy planning my future. I opened a high-yield savings account, put most of the money there to earn interest. I kept some in checking for emergencies. I started researching investment options. I was being careful, responsible, exactly what Nana would have wanted. Then, 2 months after the inheritance cleared, I got a call from my bank. Miss Russo, this is David Chen from First National. I am calling about some unusual activity on your savings account. My stomach dropped. What kind of activity? Large withdrawals. Over the past 6 weeks, there have been 12 withdrawals totaling $199,000. The room tilted. That is impossible. I did not authorize any withdrawals. The withdrawals were made online using your login credentials. Were your credentials compromised? I do not know. I have not logged in recently. What happened to the money? It was transferred to another account at this bank. An account belonging to Elena Russo. That is your mother, correct? My mother. My mother had taken my money. Yes, I said, my voice hollow. That is my mother. We need to determine if this is fraud or if you authorize these transfers. Can you come into the branch? I went to the bank that afternoon, sat across from David Chen while he pulled up the records. The transfers started February 3rd, he said. The first was $20,000, then smaller amounts over the next few weeks. The most recent was yesterday, $15,000. I did not authorize any of this. How did she access my account? She would have needed your login information, your username and password. I thought back. Mom had helped me set up online banking years ago when I was in high school. She might have still had that information. Or maybe I had used a password she could guess. This is theft, I said. My mother stole from me. David looked uncomfortable. That is between you and her. From the bank's perspective, the credentials were valid, so the transfers were legitimate. We cannot reverse them without a court order. A court order? Yes. You would need to file a police report and potentially sue for recovery of the funds, sue my own mother, file criminal charges against her. I will talk to her first, I said. I called Mom immediately when I left the bank. She did not answer. I called 10 more times, voicemail every time. I drove to her apartment. She was not home, or she was not answering the door. I sent texts, dozens of them. I know you took the money. The bank called me. We need to talk. Please call me back. Nothing. Finally, 3 days later, she responded with a single text. I needed it. I will pay you back. I called her. She answered this time. You stole from me, I said. You took $199,000. I borrowed it. There is a difference. You took it without asking. You took it from an account I did not know you could access. That is theft. You have plenty of money. You do not need all of it right now. I needed some for myself, for my retirement, for my life. That money was my inheritance. Nana left it to me. Nana should have left it to me. I am her daughter. I am the one who struggled. You have your whole life ahead of you. I needed it more. I could not believe what I was hearing. So you just decided to take it? To steal almost $200,000? I did not steal it. I am your mother. What is yours is mine. That is how family works. That is not how family works. That is not how anything works. I will pay you back eventually, when I can. Stop being so dramatic about it. When will you pay me back? I do not know. When I have the money. You are acting like I killed someone. It is just money. It is my money, my future, the security Nana wanted me to have. And now I have security too. Nana should have thought about that when she was writing her will. She hung up. I sat in my car, shaking with rage and disbelief. My mother had stolen my inheritance, almost $200,000, and she felt entitled to it. That was when I knew I had to make a choice. Let it go and lose my future, or fight back and possibly destroy my relationship with my mother. It was not really a choice at all. I hired a lawyer the next day, Rebecca Martinez, a family attorney recommended by a friend. I need to sue my mother for theft, I said when I met with her. She did not blink. Tell me everything. I laid it out. The inheritance, the unauthorized transfers, Mom's refusal to return the money. Rebecca took notes, asked questions, pulled up bank records I had brought. "This is clear-cut theft," she said when I finished. "She accessed your account without permission and transferred funds. The fact that she is your mother is irrelevant legally. What are my options? You can file a civil suit to recover the funds. You can also file a police report for theft, which could lead to criminal charges. Most people do both." Criminal charges? She would go to jail? Potentially. Theft over $100,000 is a felony in this state. She could face prison time if convicted. I felt sick. I did not want to send my mother to prison. I just wanted my money back. Can I just do the civil suit? Get my money back without criminal charges? Yes, but understand, if she does not have the money to pay you back, a judgment does not magic it into existence. We can garnish her wages, put liens on property, but recovery can take years. What if she spent it all? Then you are pursuing someone who cannot pay, but the judgment stays on her record. It ruins her credit, makes it hard for her to get loans, rent apartments, sometimes even get jobs. It follows her. Good, I said. The word surprised me, but it was true. I wanted there to be consequences. Before we file, I need to ask, are you sure? Once you start this process, your relationship with your mother is probably over. Family lawsuits are brutal. They destroy relationships. I thought about Nana, about the life she had worked so hard to build, about the gift she had given me, meant to provide security and a future, about my mother stealing it without remorse. File it, I said. Rebecca filed the lawsuit 3 days later. My mother was served at her apartment by a process server. She called me immediately, screaming, "You are suing me? Your own mother? You stole from me. I borrowed it, and you are taking me to court over it? Do you know how humiliating this is? Do you know how devastating it was to discover you stole my entire inheritance? I am your mother. You owe me everything. I raised you alone. I sacrificed everything for you. And Nana sacrificed everything to give me a future you stole. I hate you. You are dead to me." She hung up. That was the last time we spoke for 8 months. The lawsuit process was slow. Months of paperwork, depositions, document requests. Rebecca was thorough and relentless. We subpoenaed Mom's bank records. What we found was damning. She had not used my money for retirement or necessities. She had bought a beach house, a vacation property she rented out for income. She had bought a new car, a luxury sedan. She had taken 3 cruises. She had bought expensive furniture, jewelry, clothes. She had spent my inheritance living like she was rich. "This is going to play very badly for her in court," Rebecca said when we reviewed the records. She claimed she needed the money for survival, but she spent it on luxuries. The judge is not going to be sympathetic. Good. During those months, my life moved forward. I got promoted at work. I started dating someone, a kind man named Chris who worked in IT. I moved into a better apartment. I was building a life, but it was harder than it should have been. Without my savings cushion, I could not afford a down payment on a house. I could not invest. I could not build the future Nana had wanted me to have. Every month that passed without resolution was another month of lost opportunity. Another month of paying rent instead of building equity. Another month of interest I could have been earning. Mom tried to contact me a few times through relatives, asking me to drop the suit, claiming I was being vindictive, saying family should forgive. I did not respond. My relatives split into camps. Some thought I was right to sue. Others thought I was being cruel. My aunt called me heartless. My uncle said Mom deserved what was coming. Family gatherings became awkward, then stopped happening altogether. I did not care. I had learned something important. People who tell you to forgive and forget are usually people who benefit from you doing so. They were not thinking about my stolen future. They were thinking about their own comfort. 6 months into the lawsuit, Mom tried one more approach. She hired a lawyer, not a good one. She could not afford a good one, but someone who filed a motion to dismiss, claiming the money was a family asset, that I had given her permission, that this was a misunderstanding. Rebecca tore the motion apart, showed the bank records proving no permission was given, showed the pattern of deception, showed Mom's own text admitting she took the money. The judge denied the motion to dismiss. The trial date was set. 2 months before the trial, Mom's lawyer reached out with a settlement offer. "Your mother is willing to pay back $50,000 to make this go away," Rebecca told me. $50,000? She took $199,000. I know. I told her lawyer that was insulting, but they are fishing, seeing if you will settle for less. What should I counter with? Full amount plus interest and legal fees. $220,000 total. She does not have that. No, she does not. But we are not settling for less than what she stole. If she cannot pay, we get a judgment and pursue collection. Rebecca sent the counter offer. Mom's lawyer came back with $75,000. Still insulting, Rebecca said. Counter with full amount again. I am not negotiating. They might try to drag this out. Make it expensive and exhausting for you. I do not care. I want every penny back. And I want her to face consequences. We went to trial 6 weeks later. The courthouse was cold and impersonal. I sat at the plaintiff's table with Rebecca, watching Mom sit across the aisle with her lawyer. She looked older, tired. She would not look at me. The judge was a stern woman in her 60s named Judge Patricia Winters. She reviewed the case file, then looked at both parties. This is a civil suit for recovery of funds, she said. Miss Sophie Russo claims her mother, Miss Elena Russo, unlawfully accessed her bank account and transferred $199,000 without permission. Miss Elena Russo claims the transfer was authorized or constituted a family loan. We will hear evidence from both sides. Rebecca presented our case first. Bank records showing the transfers. My testimony that I did not authorize them. Expert testimony about account security. Text messages where Mom admitted taking the money. It was methodical and devastating. Then Mom's lawyer presented her defense. He tried to argue that I had given Mom access to my account years ago, that there was implied permission, that family members sharing finances was normal. Rebecca destroyed every argument, showed that even if I had given her access years ago, that did not give her permission to take nearly $200,000. Showed that I had been 23 when the transfers occurred, an adult with my own separate finances. Then Mom took the stand. Miss Russo, her lawyer, said, "Can you explain why you transferred money from your daughter's account?" "I needed it," Mom said. "I have worked my whole life and have nothing. My mother left everything to Sophie and nothing to me. I was her daughter. I deserve something." "So you felt entitled to take your daughter's inheritance?" "I felt entitled to what my mother should have left me in the first place." "And did you intend to pay your daughter back?" "Eventually, yes, when I could." No further questions. Rebecca stood up for cross-examination. "Miss Elena Russo, you said you needed this money. For what specifically?" "For retirement, for security. Yet according to your bank records, you spent $26,000 on a beach house down payment, $42,000 on a car, $18,000 on furniture, $15,000 on jewelry, and over $30,000 on vacations. Does that sound like retirement security?" Mom's face flushed. "I needed those things." "You needed a beach house? It is an investment. I rent it out." "You rent it out for $1,200 a month, which does not even cover the mortgage." "That is not an investment, Miss Russo. That is a luxury you purchased with your daughter's stolen money." "I did not steal." "You admitted in a text message to your daughter that you took the money. You admitted you would pay it back. That admission proves you knew you did not have permission. She had so much money. She did not need all of it. That is not for you to decide. The money was legally hers. You had no right to take it, correct?" Mom looked at the judge, then at her lawyer, then back at Rebecca. "I am her mother. She should want to help me. That is not what I asked." "Did you have legal right to take that money?" Silence. "Answer the question, Miss Russo," the judge said. "No." Mom finally said, "No, I did not have legal right." "No further questions," Rebecca said, sitting down. The trial lasted 2 days. At the end, Judge Winters said she would issue her ruling within a week. We left the courthouse separately. Mom glared at me as she walked past, pure hatred in her eyes. I felt nothing. The ruling came 6 days later. Rebecca called me at work. "We won," she said. "Full judgment. $199,000 in stolen funds, plus $18,000 in interest, plus $22,000 in legal fees. Total judgment of $239,000. I sat down hard in my office chair. "We won. Completely. The judge found your mother's actions constituted theft. She ordered full restitution plus damages. Your mother has 60 days to begin payment, or we start garnishment proceedings. She cannot pay that. I know. So we will garnish her wages, put liens on the beach house and car, whatever we can do to recover funds. It will take time, but we will get your money back." "What happens to her?" She will be financially ruined. The judgment stays on her credit report for 10 years. She will not be able to get loans, credit cards, possibly not even rent an apartment. If she tries to hide assets or income, she could face contempt charges. Good. Sophie, you should know. Your mother's lawyer filed a notice that they are recommending she file for bankruptcy. If she does, the debt might be discharged. Can she do that? It is complicated. Debts from theft are usually not dischargeable in bankruptcy. We would fight it, but it is an option she might try. I hung up and sat in my office, processing everything. I had won. The court had sided with me. Mom had been ordered to pay back everything she stole plus damages. But I knew she could not pay. She would spend years having her wages garnished, her assets seized, her financial life destroyed. Part of me felt guilty. She was my mother. I was destroying her financially. But the bigger part remembered Nana's face when she told me she was leaving me everything. Remembered the love and care she put into giving me security. Remembered coming home to find my savings emptied. Remembered Mom saying what is yours is mine and refusing to feel any remorse. She had made her choice. This was the consequence. Mom called me the day she received the judgment notice. I had been expecting it, so I did not answer. She left a voicemail. Are you happy now? The judge ordered me to pay you $239,000. Money I do not have. Money I will never have. They are going to take my wages. They are going to take my car. They might take my beach house. I am going to lose everything because of you. I hope you can live with yourself. I saved the voicemail, not because it hurt, because it was evidence of her continuing lack of remorse. The garnishment started immediately. 25% of Mom's paycheck went directly to paying the judgment. She kept her job, barely. The stress and humiliation of wage garnishment made her a liability at work, but they could not fire her for it. The beach house went into foreclosure within 3 months. She could not afford the mortgage payment without access to her full salary. Rebecca made sure I got the equity from the sale, about $15,000 after the mortgage was paid off. The car was repossessed 6 months later. She could not keep up with payments. Mom had to move to a cheaper apartment, much cheaper. She downgraded her entire life to afford living on 75% of her salary. And still, she would owe me for years. At the garnishment rate, it would take over 8 years to pay off the judgment. My relatives started calling, begging me to stop the garnishment, saying Mom was suffering, that I had made my point, that family should forgive. She stole from me, I said to every single one. The court agreed. The garnishment is not my choice. It is a legal consequence of theft. If she did not want consequences, she should not have stolen. Some relatives stopped talking to me. Others quietly admitted I was right but could not say so publicly. Family loyalty, they said, was complicated. My aunt sent me a long email about forgiveness and mercy, about how I was young and would earn more money. But Mom was old and would never recover from this. I did not respond, but I did think about it, about mercy, about forgiveness, about whether I was being cruel. And every time I thought about stopping the garnishment, I remembered something. Mom never apologized. Not once. Not in her testimony. Not in her voicemail. Not in any message through relatives. She was sorry she got caught. Sorry there were consequences. But she was not sorry she took my money. She still believed she was entitled to it. You cannot forgive someone who is not sorry. You can only enable them. It has been 4 years since the judgment. I am 29 now. I work as a marketing director at a mid-sized firm. I am engaged to Chris. We bought a house last year, smaller than what I could have afforded with my full inheritance, but ours. The garnishment continues. I have received about $80,000 so far. At this rate, I will have the full amount back when I am 35. It is not the same as having it when I was 23. I lost years of investment growth, years of building equity, years of opportunity. That damage can never be fully repaired. But I have something else. I have the knowledge that I stood up for myself, that I did not let someone, even my mother, steal from me without consequences. Mom filed for bankruptcy a year ago. Rebecca fought it, arguing the debt was from theft and should not be discharged. The judge agreed. The garnishment continues. I have not spoken to Mom in for years. I have no plans to ever speak to her again. People ask me if I regret it, if I think the money was worth losing my mother. The answer is complicated. I did not lose my mother. She lost me. She made that choice when she stole from me. When she refused to apologize or show remorse. When she decided her wants mattered more than my future. I just refused to pretend it did not matter. I refused to absorb the damage and move on. I refused to be the bigger person, which in this case meant being the victim who forgave her attacker for the comfort of others. The money? Yes. It was worth fighting for, not because I am greedy, because it represented my grandmother's love, her sacrifice, her belief that I deserved security. Mom tried to take that from me. The court made her give it back. That is not revenge. That is justice. Last month, I received the final payment from Nana's estate, a small dividend from an investment that was still being settled, $1,500. I put it in a college fund for my future children, children who will never know their grandmother Elena, but who will know their great-grandmother Rosa through the stories I tell and the values I teach. Hard work, integrity, protecting what matters. Nana taught me those things. Mom taught me one more. Sometimes the people who hurt you most are the people closest to you. And sometimes the only way to heal is to let the consequences fall where they belong. I am 29 years old. I own a home. I have a career. I am engaged to someone who respects me. I have recovered most of my inheritance. And I did it all while holding the person who stole from me accountable. Some people think that makes me cold, heartless, a bad daughter, but I sleep well at night. And when I do, I sometimes dream of Nana, smiling at me, proud that I fought for what she gave me. That is worth more than any amount of money. My family says I should have dropped the lawsuit and forgiven my mother. My lawyer says I did exactly the right thing. What do you think? Was I wrong to take my mother to court for stealing my inheritance? Or did she get exactly what she deserved? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. If you believe people should face the consequences of their actions, hit subscribe. I have got more stories of justice that will blow your mind.